Okay.
Okay. Since their meteoric rise in popularity, cartoons have been considered to have a detrimental effect on child development. But this, I believe, should change. Oh gosh. Alright, so before, cartoons were intended to distract children for a period of hours so that the parent could have some free time, and for companies to advertise their products, this being in the early 1920s when advertising was huge on television. And then, in modern times, cartoons have become more about education and social development of children. So, so the most important thing to remember is that cartoons have intended age groups, and each age group has a specific goal in mind. So for the ages 0 to 6, most cartoons are meant to build on basic reading and math skills while exploring some social interactions, but not too much, mostly focused on the basic education so that when they get into primary schools, they have some foundation of knowledge and are able to excel. The age group after this, being 7 and older, are basically instructed on how to react in morally gray situations. Examples of shows that teach children how to behave morally are like SpongeBob, where each character represents 7 deadly sins, Pokemon, where they're faced with various scenarios of ethical issues fighting Team Rocket, and Avatar: The Last Airbender, where they have to fight Fire Nation. These shows affect a child's morality in that it helps them have examples by which to follow in the real world. The shows for these kids from 7 and older are intended to affect the morals, because research has shown that from the ages of 7 to 8, a child fully develops their sense of morality. And so before this, these cartoons often have violence in them that's simulated or apparent, or some language like stupid or jerk that parents might not approve of for a younger child. So the cartoons in this age group from 7 to 11 really are for building moral character, not necessarily the basic language which should have been already presented. And so the argument that I've seen most often about cartoons is that they're too violent, or they have poor language. And I feel that you can't exactly blame the cartoons, because they're intended for an age group that the children that are watching them aren't supposed to be watching. These kids are watching cartoons at too young an age, and this falls more on the parents' lack of, they don't pay attention enough to what their child is watching. So, in essence, it's not the cartoon's fault, it's the parents not being responsible for their child. And so when they blame the cartoon for their child's poor behavior, it's really a reflection on their parenting, not necessarily the cartoon. Because the cartoons if you research any of them, they have target audiences that are very specific for why they're the target audiences. Another argument was that children who watched cartoons would have a shortened attention span. And this has been the common belief since cartoons were invented. And the thought was that when children enter preschool and kindergarten, they would have a 5-minute attention span. But current research is showing that children who have watched fast-paced cartoons, or cartoons that change scenes more than 3 times per minute, have a higher tendency to be able to multitask. And multitasking isn't really being able to do multiple things at once, but being able to refocus on a separate topic and continue with that while other things are going on around you. And these cartoons actually aid in this because they allow children to learn how to focus on different things and different parts of the storyline as they grow older. So, overall, cartoons have evolved into an educational venue for children. They teach the basics of education and social interaction, and give basis for a moral guidance that they're able to use later on in life. They also begin to learn life skills that they will need to use in the modern world, where information is fast-paced and everything